Hello and welcome to the Wyvern TV. I'm Liam.
And I'm Rebecca.
And on today's show,
the Wyvern at the final of the Shine Awards in London.
We talk to Samantha Gould about her Olympic experience.
And we tell you about some strange cats. But first, a few months ago, the Wyvern newspaper was entered into the Shine Awards. It had over 175 entries this year.
During April, they announced the top 43 schools which were shortlisted for the award. We were shortlisted for the Best Commercial Strategy, Best Overall Content and the Most Outstanding Pupil.
Then, during May, they halved the list and luckily we found out that we were still in the running for an award. So on the 25th of June, Sam Hutchison, Katie Appleyard, Liam Pape, Rebecca Parkinson, Miss Surtees and Mr Kipling went down to London for the award ceremony. Here was how it went.
Earlier on in the year, the Wyvern entered a competition named the Shine Awards. The Shine Awards are media awards which are in the second year of running. The things that can be entered are online publications, newspapers and magazines. Now after a round of judging, we were shortlisted for overall editorial content, commercial strategy and for the editor, outstanding pupil. Later on after this, we received an invite to the awards ceremony which was on the 25th of June 2012. When then approached by the head Mr Kipling for the work we had done, and by getting that far, we were told that we'd be travelling down the day before and looking around London. During this trip, we were also informed that there were surprises in store. After a lot of building up to it, on Sunday the 24th of June, me, Mrs Surtees, Liam, Mr Kipling, Sam and Rebecca Parkinson travelled down by train. After we arrived, we dumped our bags and went to the London Eye, which was just around the corner. That for me and the others was surreal. We then moved on to the Hard Rock Cafe, where we all, especially Liam, pigged out. The next morning, we took the tube from to Stationers' Hall, where we did activities before the ceremony. When it came to the categories we were shortlisted in, we got highly commended in overall editorial content, and in overall pupil, Liam came first. We asked Miss Surtees what she thought of this trip, and this is what she said. I really enjoyed our trip to London for the Shine Awards. I thought it was a good reward for the Wyvern team, who have worked really hard to produce a very good publication. With more time and better desktop publishing software, it could win next year. Also, as Mrs Surtees is leaving, we'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you for all her help and support with the TV and paper. The day was fantastic and we all had a brilliant time.
Brilliant trip. Now, from the beginning of June, SpongeBob, the world's fattest cat, is being on a diet because she weighed as much as a 4-year-old child.
She was recently taken to an animal rescue centre in New York where she found out that she was the world's new fattest cat. The previous fattest cat title belonged to Meow, who was 39 pounds, but she died last month.
On the subject of cats, meet Orville. After he was run over by a car, his owner turned him into a remote-control quadcopter for an art festival in Amsterdam.
Now, with the Olympic Games coming soon, we got Katie to talk to Samantha Gould, who carried the Olympic torch.
Welcome, Samantha. Now you are a torchbearer for Darlington. How did you feel when you found out that you'd be taking part in this event?
I was excited and proud to be one of the 8,000 torchbearers to hold the Olympic torch.
When you were carrying the torch, was it heavy?
Yeah, it was about 1 kilogram, so it was quite heavy, but not as heavy as I thought it was going to be.
How far roughly did you have to run with it?
It was about 300 metres or thereabouts, so it was about like a running track.
Okay. You carried the torch in Hartlepool. Which part did you carry it along?
I ran down Middleton Way onto Marina Way.
Yeah. And sum up your experience in one word, please.
Overwhelming.
Thank you very much, Samantha.
Here's when Rebecca talked to the Chair of Governors, Dr David Hall.
Right, so you're a governor. What does that role involve exactly?
Being a governor involves taking a keen interest in the school and actually coming in and out, finding out what's happening, getting to know people like I am now, getting to know the teachers Because if you don't do that, then you really haven't got a starting point. But having got that on board, then it's also about helping the school to move forward, about leadership, I suppose, is the real word for a governor. We don't have any management duties, but we do have the duty to say, why aren't you? When are we going to?
Yeah.
And just generally asking questions, but also then a third thing, looking at standards and saying, are we sure we are aiming high enough? Because what we really need to see is the school getting better and better and better, and it gets better when we set milestones further and further along the road. So I would say those are the three important things that governors do.
So how long have you been involved in the governing body then?
For about 2 years, I think now. Yes. When it was Branksome and now with the academy.
So what have you done for the school since being involved in the governing body?
Well, I've asked a number of awkward questions. I've Mr. Kipling, I see him every Friday morning, and we discuss what's happening, where things are going, and if I'm not happy with what I'm hearing, and that's not very often, but I think it's the duty of the chairman of the governors to challenge and to say, yeah, okay, we're doing very well, but let's move on. And so I think my role as chairman of the governors is actually to keep an eye on where we're going ahead, to be looking ahead and saying, well, yes, we're doing fine now, but what are we going to be doing tomorrow, which is better? Because that's what it's all about.
So when did you know that you wanted to become involved with the governing body, or was it just a spur-of-the-moment decision?
I think originally I saw an advert in the paper which said that Branksome, as it was a little short of governors, and I'd actually just given up another job, and I thought, I've got a bit of spare time. I used to be a governor at Carmore School. I'll see if they want me at Branksome. And so I volunteered, and very shortly after that I got a telephone call to say, thanks for volunteering, you're in.
So there's recently been a student governor election, and
yes.
Amy Davies and Harry Pape won that.
Yeah.
What will their roles involve?
Well, their role is really to keep me and the other governors in touch with what's actually happening down on the ground. It's one thing for me to look at the results, to look at sheets and sheets of results produced by Mr. Johnson, which says everything's going well. It's another thing to talk to students and say, but what's it really feel like to be down there in the classroom? And I think that is the role of the student governors, to be at the governing body. And when we're talking in airy-fairy terms about how good the school is, they can say, yes, it is very good, but it could be a bit better, and it would feel a lot more comfortable if these things happened. And I think we've already had examples of that with the head boy and head girl who came in the other day, and I was talking to them about the new head boy and head girl. I was talking to them about what they were planning to do. And they were talking about lesson changes and things that would make lessons more helpful. So it's no good just sitting on the top of an ivory tower thinking all is well. It usually is, but it can be better if you know what's happening down below.
So, final question then. What's been your most successful moment being in the governing body?
Oh, goodness me, my most successful moment. I suppose it was when we became an academy, because that gave us the opportunity to do lots of things that we hadn't been doing before. It gave us a new governing body, it gave us a completely new start, and we were able to say, right, now we'll set targets, we'll set new standards to work to, and we look forward to moving on into the future.
Thank you.
Now on to the sport with Ewan Barr and Sam Hutchinson.
Last month, England crashed out of the Euros.
They lost 4-2 on penalties to Italy after being 2-1 up.
They were not the best team on the pitch with a handful of chances.
Last Sunday, it was the final, Spain versus Italy.
Italy did well to get to the final, but didn't perform on the night.
Spain by far were the better team, having at least a chance every few minutes.
The score was 4-0, with goals from Silva, Alba, Torres and Mata.
Over the weekend of Sunday the 8th of July, it was the British Grand Prix at Silverstone.
With Button qualifying 18th and Hamilton 8th, it didn't look promising race.
Mark Webber won the race, followed by Alonso and Vettel. Hamilton and Button finished 8th and 10th.
This means Fernando Alonso is winning the Formula 1 Championship with 129 points.
During July, Wimbledon was taking place and the Scottish player Andy Murray entered the competition on form.
However, after some difficult games, he amazingly made his way to the final and unfortunately lost to the ever-great Roger Federer on 4 sets.
That's it for the sport this month. Back to the studio.
That's all for this show, but if you have any stories for the Wyvern, please contact us.
You can visit us online at www.wyvernnews.blogspot.com, or you can follow us on Twitter at @DSMS_Wyvern.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.